gets over that line too quickly, as we said, a one-lap penalty. It may be, though, that Baberton's all right. Yes, a clean start. And Baberton is coming on very strong. You can tell that boat because, of course, the absence of that big high wing that Ron Armstrong has coming into the screen and overtaking Baberton as they sail into turn 2. And look at Armstrong trying to take Baberton on the outside. He's going around the hard way, Steve.
But what a proud moment this is for members of the Victoria Speedboat Club in Australia, as Baberton, at least for the moment, leads this Thunderboat heat. Only the 3rd time an Australian boat has ever been in American waters in this kind of competition. On the inside is Baberton.
And Armstrong trying to overtake him on the outside. Interesting thing here, Steve, in boat racing, Armstrong can't just duck in behind him and cross his wake. He's got to stay on the outside and literally outrun him the long way around the course. If it was on pavement or dirt or something, he could just slow down and try to duck in behind him and take him on the inside.
The Australian boat, a big surprise here, Brock. They did not fare well in the first heat. I think the competition took them a little lightly. Fun having them around, but weren't competitive. Right. Look, down on the pole. That is the Australian boat, the wingless machine of Bill Baberton. It is just rocketing down this main straightaway.
He sure is, and I think that Ron Armstrong has had some problems. It looked as if he kind of slid out of our screen there, as Baberton is now uncontested. Yes, indeed, Armstrong on the sidelines. The boat has just come to a complete halt. Look how far into the water it sinks after it loses its speed.
So for 42-year-old Ron Armstrong of Lakewood, California, his day is done. But the Australians have really got their adrenaline pumping. Here is the race for second. On the inside is Terry Turner from California with the twin Chevrolet boat. On the outside is George Johnson, the Executone boat.
Well, it's a repeat of the first heat. Remember, these two guys ran literally gunnel to gunnel all the way around, just beating on each other. Finally, Terry made it at the finish, and Johnson went on to take second place, but it looks like Terry is not going to let it happen again. He's really, he's got the right line. He's on the inside, and boy, that old stock block boat is just showing all kinds of power.
But remember, again, they twist that engine almost 8,000 RPMs as compared to maybe 3,000, 3,500 with the aircraft engine. Reliability, a big factor with that combination.
Well, now Johnson has squeezed out maybe a boat-length lead, but he may have to give that up because don't forget they're diving down into that tight turn 3 and 4, and it could be that Turner will just nip inside him and come out ahead.
This is just a terrific race, Brock.
It sure is. Boy, I'll tell you, these boats are so hairy and so wild. Fortunately, we haven't seen anything happen like this yet, but they are capable of getting too much air underneath them, Steve, and flipping right over on their backs.
Well, some people feel they are the most dangerous creations in all of motorsports.
Well, they're so overpowered, they're so unstable, and they're running in an intrinsically unstable water. There is Renato Molinari behind you in the back of the screen. He's coming up on the inside using that superior handling, but I don't think he's got enough power to play with these two.
And Renato doesn't want to bat. He, just like Jimbo, he really has not experienced that rooster tail. He doesn't want to.
Well, no, he is tucked in right in against those buoys. So he could, by running a lot shorter distance, come up and compete with Johnson and Turner, but I doubt it over the long haul.
Boy, it's a little red rocket down the straightaway. And rocketing right by him goes Terry Turner on the inside, and on the far outside skids through the water, George Johnson.
Wow, he must have thought he drove into a car wash when Turner went by him there. It looked pretty good until those two boats appeared.
So Molinari out here playing with the big boys in an 18-foot boat disguised to be about 22 feet long. And here is the leader, Bill Baberton from Australia, the VS41. VS standing for Victoria Speedboat Club, who funded this effort and got the crew and the boat over here.
And there's George Johnson currently riding in second, but being contested by Terry Turner, who dives down in the inside. And that rooster tail you see, that's Baberton just in front of him. Look at that. Turner now dives inside Baberton, and they're fighting for the lead, Steve.
Oh, this is just terrific. The Australian on the outside without the wing, throwing a rooster tail high into the air, and on the inside, the twin Chevrolet power plant from California of Terry Turner.
I gotta say, Steve, among all the boats we've seen here today, the most spectacular show has been put on by this man from California, Terry Turner. A real underdog, but showing all kinds of power and style all day long.
And that's why back in 1975, this man, your new leader, Terry Turner, was voted into the Marine Racing Hall of Fame.
Well, he sure deserved it, and based on his performance today, they may do a revote and vote him in again. He's just running away from now. That's George Johnson behind him. Molinari way over in the right side of your screen, still tucked down on the inside. He may not be out of this thing yet. You know that?
Oh, I think you're right, Brock, but unfortunately, this man is Bill Baberton from Australia, who really thrilled the crowd here today, waving that he's okay, but the boat is broken.
Well, that's twice in a row. 2 races today for Baberton and a tough break as Terry Turner continues to dominate, showing more power than probably anybody expected to come out of a pair of engines that started their lives in a pickup truck someplace.
Terry Turner on the inside is leading, but at this point he can probably hear the throaty roar of the big aircraft power plant challenging him in the boat of George Johnson. Johnson on the outside. The better driver in these turns, Brock, is going to win it.
Sure is, and it looks like, kind of reminds you of Terry Turner, one of those old upright dirt track cars in the old days, and he really literally power slides that thing through the corners. Look at that. Puts on a little opposite lock. Could be running on a mild dirt track.
And you can see why. The seat in the boat I tried out was so very, very tight. You could easily get pitched out of one of these boats.
Oh, Terry, boy, he is one tough guy. He's getting a face full of fumes and noise and water and what else, and just getting pounded around, but he won't give up, and he's in this race, and he's going to take Johnson.
You know, if the slightest thing goes wrong with one of those Chevrolet engines, even if it blows a valve cover gasket, Terry is going to get a face full of oil to add to all the rest of it.
A lot like running the old front engine. Oh, trouble for Terry Turner. Arm up, boat slowing down. George Johnson skates past into the lead, and it looks as if Turner's finished.
So Terry Turner, who had all of the automotive types certainly on his side, has got some big problems, and this man is now the leader. George Johnson, and somewhere struggling out and running around in circles is Renato. You know, Brock, there's a hole, I think, in that boat. It looks like it may be taking on some water.
Sure does. He's up standing on the hull. He's waving. Yeah, he wants help.
But Brock, they can't come out and help him with the race running. There's a rule. If he was to jump into the water, he could stop this race. And if he doesn't think of that pretty soon, the boat is going to sink on him.
Well, that's what he's going to do. I'll bet he is. Yes, he's in the water.
And that's good news for George Johnson, because at this point, the race is declared official, and he, this boat, the Executive Special, will be the winner.
According to the American Power Boat Association rules, if any driver, either voluntarily or involuntary, gets into the water, the race is over. There you see Terry Turner in the water. There you see the red flag signaling the end of the race.